Hey, this is the friendly ADHD porcupine. You know, a child's nervous system is constantly asking just one important question: am I safe? When a child feels overwhelmed, stressed, scared, embarrassed, or emotionally unsafe, their brain is going to shift from fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode. What looks like bad behavior and what often gets them in trouble is actually the child's nervous system trying to communicate with you. For example, if you have a child that has a fight response, it may look like yelling, hitting, defiance, angry outbursts. They just do not want to comply with any rule that you set. And so a lot of times people will come back with, I'm the adult, you're going to do what I say, and this is what I want you to do, which is the worst thing to do for a child who's in a fight response. So what you could do is ask them to go lean against the wall. Lean against the wall or push against the wall, or maybe have them carry a heavy object like a backpack from one place to another, because carrying heavy objects can allow them to release that negative energy. You could also give them pieces of paper that they can tear, or some people like those famous little bubble things that they can, pop on all the different bubbles, or squeezing Play-Doh, or using a pillow as a way to express frustration. Anything that's going to allow a child to get that fight response out, because that's the way their nervous system is communicating. As an aside, everything I'm about to say also works with some adults as well. So flight, if you have a child that's in the flight mode and that looks like they're trying to run away, or they'll try to avoid tasks, or they'll maybe talk a lot to get away from having to do something that they're supposed to do, or they're constantly like, can I go, can I go, can I go, can I go? A flight response means that they are so overwhelmed they need to leave whatever situation or whatever feeling or whatever is going on. So you can have them have a movement break, give them jumping jacks to do, or animal walks, or take them on a short walk outside if that's something that you're able to do. Use grounding games like, what are 5 things you see, 4 things you hear, 3 things you touch, those type of activities that can help a flight child who's ready to go, to get that movement out and then to ground into the space that where they're at. Then you also have a freeze response. A freeze response is where they look like they're shut down. They may have a little bit of a blank stare. When you ask them questions, they go, I don't know. I don't know. Or they have a hard time making decisions. Even something as simple as, what do you want for lunch? I don't know. They're not able to communicate their wants because their body is starting to freeze and it's starting to immobilize and sort of set down. So sometimes when a child is in a shutdown mode, sometimes just sitting together quietly, coloring, drawing, anything that's going to allow them to kind of get that expression out without that pressure, like you have to talk, like tell me what's wrong. No, we don't have to talk about anything. Here's a crayon, here's a piece of paper. Go ahead and color whatever you want. You can also give them sensory comforts like a weighted blanket or soft music, or even having like a warm drink. Our grandparents used to always try to have like warm milk. But people would love that warm drink that would allow them to kind of come down and come out of that freeze state. The last type of nervous system response is a fawning response. This is a people-pleasing response. This is where they're over-apologizing. They're going, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, every time they want. They become very overly compliant to anything that they are being asked to do, because they have a very strong fear that they are going to disappoint the people that are around them. So a lot of times with those type of children, you want to teach them how to say phrases like, no thank you, I need a minute, or other ways to teach them boundaries, especially through the context of role play. As an adult, sometimes I used to have an adult employee who was very much a fawn person, and I would constantly try to put her in situations where she would have to tell me no. And no is a healthy word, and you have to be able to use it. But some kids, for whatever reason, aren't comfortable with using the word no, or maybe they've been taught that children aren't allowed to say no. So you teach them how to use the word no. No thank you, I need some time, can I have some quiet space? And encourage them to make choices by giving them small choices that they can make, so that they can build a little bit of confidence and autonomy. Like, would you like to sit over here, or would you like to sit over here? give them those choices to allow them to be able to make those choices. And children try to do well when they can. Regulation tends to happen through connection, through safety, through consistency, and through co-regulation with adults who are calm and who can help them calm. So before you start asking, what's wrong with this child? Consider asking this: what happened to this child, and what is their nervous system communicating to me?